Hello and welcome, listeners, to That's a Good Card. We are thrilled to welcome one of our longtime supporters and also someone that we are a big fan of, Higher from Playing with Power. So welcome on, Higher. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. You know, it's been a long time coming.
I'm so excited. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Of course. I know that this is something Ya's been really excited for, something I've been really excited for. And we are really excited that you have chosen Ya to kind of go against you. And I will be playing kind of your teammate, I guess, on this. You're Robin to your Batman. So I'm really excited to talk about this card here. So what card did you bring for us today?
Today I brought Lurking Predators. I cannot wait to get in this bad boy.
Okay. Why don't you read it off for the listeners at home?
Yeah, Lurking Predators is a 4-colorless, 2-green enchantment. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, you may put that card onto the bottom of your library. Oh, so good. All are prey to the eyes of the wild is that flavor text.
That's really good. I like that.
The art is so sick too. It's just like all of these eyes kind of like peering from the darkness at this one lonely adventurer with just a little bit of light, you know, just a little bit of light.
Yeah, lurking as it will.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Just to kind of give us a background, Ya, do you want to kind of talk about where we're seeing this card?
Yeah, this card is seen in bracket 5 decks. There's only 230 decks that are running this.
Interesting.
Notable inclusions are Joda the Unifier, Timna Kodama, Kona something Beast, I think, Jetmir, and then I think the big reason we're going to be talking about it today is Kinnan.
Ooh,
yeah, it is something I think I looked at a long time when I was running a version of Kinnan. Like a year or two ago, whenever it was, I've been on many decks since then. So
yeah,
I'm pretty excited about this card.
Yeah, super excited to talk about it too. I personally have never played this card, which is pretty interesting. So your teammate to help you out has zero experience with the card Higher.
It's okay. I just get to introduce you to the gospel of the Predators.
Oh, okay, got you. I will play the role of the acolyte, ready to learn everything about this card.
Yeah,
and I'll just try to point out the things that I think seem cool about it. And then Ya, are you ready to play the devil's advocate at some point here? Or are you going to take it easy on Higher?
We all know that I'm the weakest person on this one. I can be convinced of many things, but I will do my job to speak for the internet. And let's see how it goes.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Higher, what do you think the the gut reaction you're going to get from people is going to be on this card? Before even listening to this podcast, what do you think? The classic, like we post this and then we get a comment 1 minute after it's posted that someone who has not listened to our podcast at all. What do you think they're going to say about this card?
I thought Higher was a good player.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Oh, CEDH plays with power. Oh, okay.
Okay. They're off the deep end on this one. Well, guess what? For those listeners who do stick around and listen, we'll convince them. We got this.
Yeah, man, for sure.
All right. Do you want to lead into it? Let's talk about some of your points for Lurking Predators. Why should people be running this card Higher?
One of the biggest things about Lurking Predators that I think helps the card resolve is that it's not a win con. And that's like my number one way to defend it. Put Lurking Predators on the stack. It's not a win con. It is, and I think this is a fair representation. It is similar to what Green's response to Rhystic and Mystic Remora, right? It's Green's Smothering Tithe. It's Green's extra valuable enchantment that does something when people try to cast spells. Now, you get a huge benefit that is a bit more impactful than Rhystic at times if you build around it, but you do have to build around it. That is a number one thing I think that is like really strong here.
Yeah, and you're speaking from like a political standpoint, right? So if you're saying like, hey, it's not a win con, it's powerful because it's not a win con, because when you put it onto the stack, it's going to be easy for you to convince others not to interact with it.
Yeah. a lot of the time when I'm playing, it will be because I really like this card. So I'll
Hmm.
mulligan for this card.
Yeah.
Um, and so I'll be, land, mana vault, pass, turn two, land, rock, lurking predators. And
Mm.
uh
And this is in
and
Kinnan, correct?
in Kinnan, yeah, in
Yeah.
Kinnan. But even without Kinnan, like land, mana vault, land, free rock equals lurking predators.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because and so uh I will do that, and then I'm tapping out for it, and I'm saying, hey, this doesn't win the game. And if you didn't counter the Rhystic setting, then you probably
Mm.
should encounter this
Yeah.
because people have to play into it, and you can't win through it. So the only people that I'm talking to here in this type of situation are people who are also behind. The person who doesn't have the Rhystic Steady, who only has one counter spell, don't counter the Looking Predators because
Hmm.
we have a Rhystic that we have to play through, and the Rhystic player can't storm through Lurking Predators. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
It works as a stacks piece in that regard.
And how often are you pointing? Because like the first thing that comes to mind, to throw you a little alley oop here, is like being able to, in that same vein, point to some turbo player at the table or some other faster threat, and being able to say you should save your interaction for what's coming next. How often do you kind of like does pod composition come into this the politicking with this card?
Massively.
Yeah.
In fact, the pods that I find myself having this card resolve most often are the pods that are trying to go fast. And I
Hmm.
cast this card, and it forces those players to really consider, do I want to try it? Do I want to test this card, or do I want to just jam? And they are in for a rude awakening.
Yeah.
um,
That's really cool to hear, because that's my first thought process on any card like this, and it's very similar to like what we see with how people politic Rhystic Study or how people politic Smothering Tithe. Sometimes those cards are able to stick because it's not a definitive you lose the game.
mhm,
That being
yeah.
said, some of the more seasoned players might be able to kind of extrapolate that and see, oh, maybe it is. So, y'all,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on this first point here? As our rival here in this, do you kind of see it in the similar vein as those cards that we brought up?
Yeah, no, no, most definitely, because a Rhystic Study is, card draw is all good, right? And like everybody
Mm-hmm.
here knows that. But I think what I'm hearing Hire say, and what I can see is that we don't need the card draw. We're just putting something straight into the battlefield, right? Like so, and in a list that's well constructed, right? And I think that's the key point here. That's
Mm-hmm.
really well constructed with like the Wandering Archaics, the Consecrated Sphinxes, or like just other high value creatures. You're not having to cast those, right? Like their
Mm-hmm.
cast gets you them playing their game. They have to play their game, right? Like that's what Hire's saying here. Like they have to play their game. They have to cast into this. And now you also can curry political favors. Like I know I'm going to cast this worldly tutor in response, right, to my
Mm-hmm.
own lurking predators. Right now, I think they're going to fight me on this. I'm going to need you guys to help fight for this because I'm going to go get this card and this is going to stop their win, right? And like
Yeah.
that's really powerful, right? So you're basically spending mana on two Rhystic Studies for something that is putting cards directly into hand, and like that might
To
actually be
play.
worth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right into play, that might actually be worth the extra three mana, right?
Yeah.
Over a Rhystic that's equivalent.
Mhm, mhm.
It is cool that you get to kind of show that it could be an answer because like that's normally what we see with Rhystic, right? Like anytime I see a Rhystic hit the table, the new go-to, it's not new, but the go-to politics is like point to the turbo player, say this is the only thing stopping them from going off, like you need me kind of thing. And this card does kind of fill a similar vein. That being said, you have to be able to back that up and point to the cards that could potentially help out in the situation.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's pretty cool. All right,
Yeah.
what's your second point?
Currently in the meta, one of the things that I'm seeing more and more consistently is people are utilizing the stack much differently than they have in the past. And I'm going to really point to Freedom Waffle's current Kinnan list
Mm-hmm.
and the idea of spells getting locked in the stack,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? So when that happens, when spells get locked in the stack, it no longer matters what spell you cast. It's not going to resolve. It's just going to be on the stack forever. With lurking predators, this Lurking Predators trigger is gonna resolve before you get a chance to get your spell.
Mm-hmm.
And that is massive because yours that means that before anything resolves, I get a chance to see the top card of my library. And
Mm.
a lot of the time, when I, especially the way like my current Kinnan list is, it's gonna be a creature that is so impactful that when you, I've had people try to resolve, like they try to storm through Lurking Predators, and I'm like, you can totally try to do this. It's not gonna work.
Yeah.
It's so not gonna work. And a good example, someone could have a brain freeze. They could have breach,
Yeah.
cast breach, cast LED. This is through Lurking Predators. On the LED cast, flip void winnower. They can no longer brain freeze.
Yeah.
And the fact that they have to play through and the Lurking Predators trigger will always resolve before they get their spell
Yeah.
is so impactful. I think that is one of the major things in comparison to Rhystic. Because with Rhystic, you draw a card and then you still have to cast it.
Yeah.
And with Lurking Predators, it's just on the battlefield. I run Fire Action Revoker in my Kinnan list. And
Mm-hmm.
so I've had times where Fire Action Revoker enters the battlefield, and it's as it enters. It's not when it enters. So it's not a triggered ability. It's just
Mm-hmm.
as it enters, I'll name Lion's Eye Diamond and be like, all right, well, you're done with your stuff.
Yeah.
And now they have to pivot into something even weirder to try and like compensate. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that is a meaningful thing. Being able to deal with decks that like to lock spells on the stack during that big storm turn.
Yeah. Awesome. I mean, I don't have much to say about that. It's pretty sweet to be able to have interaction with those kinds of scenarios, whether it's through with like a high fate trickster or E zone or whatever's like flash enabler, valley flood caller, being able to have a way to interact with those situations that seem honestly insurmountable a lot of the times. Because if you don't have things like this, the other thing that this kind of reminds me of a little bit, and I could be going off base here, is counterbalance. I feel like
Mhm.
sometimes like counterbalance triggers end up really shutting down the player who it seems like they have it all. You know, they have the flash enabler going, they're making tons of mana, they're the silver scrapes is playing in their head, they're going crazy, but that counterbalance is just shutting them down at every turn. And I think that if you've played against counterbalance and have seen how good counterbalance can be, that's a very similar effect to how lurking predators can interact with a big flash enabled stack.
The most oppressive board state I can make in Kinnan without going with like every creature on my battlefield, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
is a Lurking Predators counterbalances in a sense he's divining top.
Listen, rough.
So you
Just
run
rough.
all of those in your Gideon list?
Yeah. So
Jeez.
yeah, right. So the idea here is okay, you cast a spell, Lurking Predators trigger, look at the top card of my library. If it's a creature, put it on the battlefield, right? If it's
Mhm.
not a creature and it has the same CMC as your spell, then I just leave it on top. If it doesn't have the same CMC, then I just throw it on the bottom. Then I'll activate top in response still. So I'm looking at 4 cards to
Yeah,
try and find a card to counter your spell every time you cast a spell.
that's so gas. So
Jeez.
gas. It's just a completely different angle of interacting. Like a
Mhm.
completely different angle. That's sweet. Yeah, you got a rebuttal for this? Because we're coming in hot, bro.
No rebuttal per se. I actually the big thing I thought about while High was speaking was just like he loves Kinnan so much because like this is just Kinnan, but like it's a Staxy Kinnan. Like
Mhm.
when your opponent does stuff right. Like I've said this already. Kinnan's and Hire's been saying it's like when your opponent does stuff. I'm basically getting a Kinnan flip.
It's
Except yes,
interesting.
it's just the top of my library, right? But it's cheating things into play in the same kind of vein. It's gaining something from your library directly onto the battlefield without you really having to do anything besides that initial 6 mana cost, right?
That's interesting that you call it Staxy. That does lead me to like a question. Do you consider this a Stax piece higher?
Yes,
Really? Interesting. Okay.
100%. Yeah.
Okay. And do you think that's just build focused, or is that like do you
Mhm.
think that that's like the most effective way that you can play this card, like across all decks? Like let's extrapolate this past Kinnan, right?
Sure.
If you were to view that card in that lens, how would you see it?
So it really depends on the type of deck that you're playing. So I think Lurking Predators in my list, I like stacks. I'm a big stacks person. So in my Kinnan list is all stacks. It's all trying to really mess with my opponent. I play like Jin Gataxi's Progress Tyrant. I play right, like I play a lot of these like big pieces that are really impactful. That when they land, it's just very everyone's sad. The whole table is sad.
Dread on the stack. Yeah,
just dread on the stack.
Yeah,
and that's that right. So that's what I'm doing with Lurking Predators. I think if you were to push past what I'm doing with Kinnan, I've seen Lurking Predators do really well in decks that are just high creature intensity.
Yeah.
And even creature in decks that are not. Recently, there was a game I had against Thrasios Roger, and they copied my Lurking Predators because there was another Storm player.
Jeez.
And they hit meaningful creatures. They hit their Valley Flood Caller.
Sure.
They hit their Seedborn Muse. They hit all of these, like they hit their Spell Seeker to get like interaction. So it was very interesting to see how the deck could run in that vein. I think in like Kodama, Tymna could be another viable strategy here where you just, big creature, it's in the battlefield. You cast your spell. I have a free Razaketh. I have a free Hoarding Broodlord.
Yeah.
Especially in decks that run black, you can Vamp Tutor. And that is massive. That's like, oh gosh, you can like really grab whatever you want. And you can like really be scary, or you're like, oh, well, it's not a creature that I got on top of my library. Oh, maybe it is.
Yeah. Right. That's cool to think about it that way. Cause like, I guess in my mind, when I first read this, I didn't immediately think stacks pieces coming into play. For me, I was thinking this from a casual mindset because when I've heard people talk about this card, a lot of times it's like in a casual context, and it's always just like, me, get out big stompy. Like, so like that's my thought process. When I see this card, I'm like, oh, it's just a way to cheat in like big ass creatures, like, which it kind of is. It's just the big ass creatures we're choosing in CEDH happen to have stacks effects on them.
Yeah. There's also a world where like, if you're in white, if you can top deck tutor a Rule of Law, it's so just, it's brutal because you cast this spell to trigger Lurking Predators, right? And then if you get a Rule of Law, you put Rule of Law on the you don't have any more spells to cast this time.
Yeah, like there's like a bunch of those options too, like Aethersworn Canonist. What's the other one that's a 1/4? Is it like Eidolon? Eidolon Rhetoric? Yeah, that's another one. There's a bunch of different ones.
There's a lot of them. Yeah, there's a lot of funk cards that you can definitely put on the battlefield.
Whether or not you're playing them in your deck, I don't know.
Yeah, right. Like in my mind, I immediately go to, because I think of non-Kinnan decks. So I'm thinking, wow, how crazy would it be to put an Elish Norn? Or if you are in like other colors that run like Thassa's Oracle, you could put a Thassa's Oracle into play, right?
Yeah.
That's Thassa's Oracle. Okay.
Dodge that red elemental blast, dodge that pyro blast, just hezzy.
Yeah, literally. And like that becomes like a crazy 2-card combo. Because if you happen to have a Lurking Predators, then you can vamp for the Thoracle, like in response to the Predator's trigger. And now it's like, oh shoot, like, all right, you just have it on the battlefield. Like, all right, I'm chilling.
All right. What's your next positive? Do you have any more? You probably talk about this for hours, right?
For hours, man. I would say the next positive to this card, it's probably like how unusual it is. It's really wonky. It falls under the vein of like Brewer's Advantage when it comes to decks.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time, and I can't tell you how many times, especially in CDH pods, I'll play it and people will be like, "What is this card?"
Yeah.
That attitude. When people have that attitude, I'm like, "Oh, this is resolving. There's no way it's not resolving."
100%.
Yeah. And I think that it being a weird card, it has the opportunity. It's kind of relates back to that first point, but more heavily in that it's unfamiliar. It's an unfamiliar card. It's not played in CD pretty much anywhere. And I think that after this podcast, if it gets more popular, I think that point will be a little less poignant. But it for now, it is just underutilized and people don't really see it for what I think they should see it as.
Yeah, it seems like a difficult card for your opponents to kind of navigate. Not only like when you're evaluating it on the stack, but like playing around it. Like I can definitely see people who don't have experience playing against Lurking Predators just like ripping random spells and then going, oh shit. Like how many times have we played games where people are just like casting random rocks they don't need and there's like a Rhystic, and a fish and they go, oh shoot. We've never done that, right, guys? Yeah, we've never done that before. No.
Yeah.
Not to call you out. Yeah, I think you did that the other night.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You like cast a Manifold or something like that, and we were like Rhystic fish, and you're like, oh, yes.
No,
but
yes.
like same thing.
Purposely do it.
No, yeah, it was a bait.
I made a grave mistake.
Yeah, but I think that like that same mentality now becomes not just like, oh, you messed up. Now your opponent gets to draw. Now it's, oh, you messed up. There's a wandering archaic on the battlefield.
Yeah.
The severity of your misplay as an opponent is really magnified with this card if you forget how this card works.
Yeah. It's really one of those things where it's more, oh, there's a Hull Breaker horror into play. There's a Tithe Spout Tyrant. There's a Thorn Mammoth. There's an Apex Altasword. Like there's all of these like
your worst nightmares.
the worst cards. I can't tell you how many. So I run Terracodon.
Oh, okay. We'll throw that up on the screen here for the listeners.
Yeah. So destroying 3 non-creature permanents. Listen, when you go to cast that spell and you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this thing, and then all of a sudden Terracodon's on the board and I'm targeting your breach in response to your brain freeze.
Oof. You can't see our faces, listeners, but oh my gosh.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal. You know?
Absolutely. Well, if you want to kind of tag me in here higher, this kind of like leads me into one of my first points.
Go for it.
So my kind of leading in the same vein, one of my points is that there's a stereotype that's with this card. And maybe I'm off base here, but at least for me, there's a stereotype that this is a casual card, right? Mm-hmm. So if your opponents are viewing this as a casual card, their threat assessment is just going to be all over the place, right? Just like we talked about and we've kind of mentioned explicitly because of the stereotype that this is a casual card, I think there's a higher chance that this card is going to resolve, right? I think your point is awesome when it's talking about like when you're playing against seasoned players, right? So playing against seasoned players, your first point of just, hey, you know, we're going to need this to stop the turbo player. That makes a lot of sense for those seasoned players for them to want to resolve it. I think for the players who are newer to CEDH and maybe have played regular EDH, they might be thinking to themselves like, oh, I played that in my bracket 3 list. Like it's tough, but I don't think I should fire off this Force OL. You know what I mean? Like they could probably, you know, they might moan a little bit about it because they might have seen these, you know, 15-15s get dropped on the battlefield or whatever they've seen in their casual games that gives them nightmares at night. But yeah. Like I think that there is a huge benefit to a player casting this, especially if you're not a known player. Like I'm trying to think like, here's a plug. If you're going to Fishbowl San Diego and there's 300 and something people there and nobody in your pod knows who you are, what you do, how long you've been playing CEDH, whatever, and this goes on the stack, people might be thinking to themselves, oh, this person's like new to CEDH. They might not know what's going on. Like, no offense, higher. No offense. But because of the stereotype, they might be like, what the hell is this? Like, what is this guy doing? You know, like, you don't know. And I think that that's really helpful because if your giant 6 mana spell gets countered, it's gonna suck. So when it does stick because of the stereotype, because of the politicking, ooh, that's just sweet. That is just sweet, sweet, sweet.
Agreed. The worst feeling is when someone does point some interaction at it and you're like, all right, I'm going to defend it. And like, why are you defending it? Because it's a 6 mana enchantment, bro. I put all my resources. I wanted to resolve.
They're like, wait, Hire, you just said this is no big deal. Why are you fighting over it?
I know. Why are you fighting over it? It's like, listen, he saw through my facade. He saw through it. He saw through it.
The panic button is being slapped right now.
This is what's happening. Oh my God. The Rhystic player. Anyways, for sure. I agreed on this.
Yeah, that's my first point. Yeah, you got any thoughts on that? Do you think that there's like a stereotype around this card?
No, I definitely think that most people will see it as a more casual card. Mm-hmm. I actually think that in the scenario you guys just kind of pointed out, there's a world where you try to bait out interaction with a Rhystic study. You want this to resolve more, right? Like that's what Hire is saying. So you try to bait out a Rhystic study, and then on a subsequent turn or whatever, you go, okay, you got me on the Rhystic study. Let me at least have this 6 mana. Like do nothing enchantment.
Do nothing,
right? Like,
ha ha ha, with air quotes.
I got own cards in hand.
Yeah.
You guys are drawing, right? Like, and you can all draw, right? Like I just paid 6 mana for that. You can all draw. Like you already got my Rhystic. Let me have my
just let me have this one.
Right?
Yeah.
Just let me have this one. right? Like there's a world where like you're kind of okay with a Rhystic. I mean, a Rhystic eating a force well, right? That's what I'm hearing Hire say. He's like on that latest podcast, you said in a world where you had to choose, you would choose lurking predators over Rhystic and fish.
Yeah.
You're paying a premium for this super powerful effect. Like you definitely would want that.
10 out of 10.
Bait out interaction with Rhystic study. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
This is how you cope with your Rhystic getting countered.
It's like, all right, guys, I'm going to cast this basalt model. Count it. Oh, shucks. Okay. Lurking predators.
Come on, guys. You countered my basalt. I got nothing left. Just let this one resolve.
I can't even win the game.
I'm just a little guy. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. So my next point is just like it's something we've kind of covered a little bit, but low color green decks have an interesting array of like disruption on bodies. And this kind of feeds into what we were talking about, where it's difficult for our opponents to navigate what's going on with some of these low color green decks, or even mono green, for example. You might be pulling out some stuff that nobody sees coming. I'm thinking like Kogla, the ape, or like a Manglehorn, or even something like I think is really cheeky, Endurance. I think Endurance kind of goes crazy with this. Like all of a sudden, like ETB, bye bye graveyard, like that is awesome. And even like some of the more like linear, not old school, but like a collector roof, like things that the second they come down, you're completely disrupted from whatever you're trying to do. And I think that because it's in green, and because I think lower color green lists will look at this card, will be drawn to this card more than a high color list, just naturally, because it's a 6 mana enchantment. These are the kind of not gotcha, but surprised you creatures that are really powerful and have really powerful effects, and they become their most powerful selves because they just come into play.
Yeah.
Like an oof that gets put into play is so much more powerful than casting an oof from hand. Same thing with these Koglas, the Manglehorns, Endurance, like all of these things that normally your opponents have the ability to react to. Now all of a sudden they don't have the ability to react to them. And I think that it just synergizes so well with those effects.
I 100% agree. So my list, my Kinnan list, runs a lot of ways to win at instant speed with lurking predators. An example of this is we're on Enduring Vitality. This is a very common green creature. But I know that Enduring Vitality is like a big creature, and I run a lot of clones. So I know that my opponents will probably have one, or I will have one. And because of that, and because of the amount of creatures I'm running, like the velocity of creatures, if I flip into Enduring Fidelity, in my mind, I'm thinking I'm probably going to win this game, because all I need from that point is I run Great Oak Guardian.
What is that? What the hell is that? I gotta look it up now.
Yeah,
I'll put it up on the screen, listeners. Great Oak Guardian. Okay.
Yeah, 6 mana green creature. When it enters the battlefield, choose target player. Target that player untaps all of their creatures. Their creatures get +2/+2 until end of turn.
Wow.
So this untaps all of my creatures, which most of the time I have 4 or 5 creatures on the battlefield at this point. Now, if I have Enduring Vitality, they're all tapping and Kinnan, obviously. They're all tapping for 2 mana. And this is important because I also run Deadeye Navigator in my list.
Yep.
So if it enters a battlefield, it soul bonds it to the Great Oak Guardian, and now I have infinite colored mana. Right. I'm also on Peregrine
That's so
Drake,
funny.
right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
a classic.
Yeah, Peregrine Drake. Yeah, it soul bonds again with Deadeye Navigator. These are like the kind of lines I'm looking for, because it doesn't require me to do anything. You can't deflecting swat the Peregrine Drake because that ability doesn't target anything. It's just, and Soul Bond doesn't target either. These are like the things that I'm thinking of when I'm thinking about what I want to do with like Kinnan and Lurking Predators. You talked about weird green creatures, like the weird, like I'm on Thorn Mammoth.
Yeah.
Right.
Really potent. Yeah. The
really
mono
potent.
green players are definitely on that too. It's just like one of those things where when it comes down, you're like, oh shoot, like Thorn Mammoth got hands.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. Like Homa, Cosmos Serpent is another creature that I really enjoy. So is Phyrexian Revoker, any of the clones, Spellskite, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of
clones can kind of get crazy with this too.
Clones get crazy. And like, you know, obviously the big hits like Void Winnower and Jin Gataxi's Progress, these like huge, massive creatures just get put on the battlefield. And it's just challenging because some of these creatures are gotchas, some for sure.
Yeah.
The probably the one that gets most people because they don't realize it is if they're casting a Thassa's Oracle, I have subtlety in the deck.
Ah, yeah.
Right. So like flip subtlety, put subtlety back on top of your deck. Like
yeah.
That's I'm down. I'm totally down.
Nobody sees subtlety coming. I never do.
Yeah.
Shit, I never see Solitude coming either. And I like even when I'm playing against mono white, I'm like, you with Solitude? Oh shoot, okay.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I forgot that card was there. Yeah. But that's great to hear. That's kind of like I think that might round off our last point here is just the fact that you can use this to not only throw stax pieces in, but you can win the game, baby. Like just put in these combos, these creature combos that are just gonna win you the game the second they hit the board. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think it's time. We've laid down the law here. We've really gassed up lurking predators. I'm ready to hear some downsides. So we'll buckle in. What do you got for us for the downsides for lurking predators?
The downsides on this card, I think, are pretty simple, and we'll hit the big one. I think this one's a real obvious one, and I think people would be upset at me for not saying it, even though it's pretty low-hanging fruit, right? Is the mana cost, right?
What? Shocked Pikachu face.
Oh my gosh. I do think that in a Kinnan list, a Rog Thras, right? I'm going to throw a Rog Thras out there. It's probably not that big a deal. Those, like, you said this, you played your first game of Rog Thras, I think a couple months ago, and you're like, I have 12 mana turn 2. I don't know what to do.
That's
now.
crazy.
Like, what do I do? What do I do?
So
now?
Much mana,
right? Like, I guess so. These are decks that are, and a lot of decks are going that way, right? Like Dog Thras, right? Yoshimaru. So I'm kind of rebutting my own point here, but like that 6 cost is really high, and it does really suck to like have to then try to fight over this. And like, I think the mulligans for this, if you're trying to get this out turn 1, turn 2, can be kind of rough. Right, like trying to like getting a Rhystic Study turn 2 nowadays pretty simple, but getting this out turn 2 without like a turn 1 Kinnan, I think will be potentially like and higher. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but like it seemed like from a glance kind of rough then to have it be mana drained. Right, it's like for those of you like that maybe like 50 of you running mana drain still. Right.
There might be more than 50. I think there's 100? A lot more. Tivit players, there's quite a few.
This is a juicy hit for a mana drain, right? Like this is
Absolutely.
looks really good to a mana drain player. Like it's 6 mana, and it's you can almost not talk them out of it just because like it's 6. Like
it's 6.
They're not gonna get
that's true. The politics are never going to work. If it's mana, that's a great play. If it's mana drain specifically, no amount of politics that you have will ever go through.
Especially if you're looking at a Tivit right now, like that's like a turn 2, turn 3 Tivit for them. But
that's
even
funny.
Though that probably shouldn't be the play.
Well, let's ask. And so, Hire, approximately when is this coming down? Like, anecdotally speaking, unbiased opinion. Don't be like, haha, I get it, turn 1 every time. Like, is this like a turn 3 thing?
Yeah,
like, what?
For sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This is like, because when you play this, you're likely going to be doing, and this is going to be a Kinnan or a Rog Thras type of hand, where it's turn 1, land, dork, turn 2, land, commanders, and then turn 3, you are now in the space of being able to reasonably cast it. Because in pretty much all Kinnan, unless you want 7 mana by turn 3, like that's the standard. And in Rog Thras, that's probably like turn 2, you're probably making that much mana because right, like it's like turn 1. If you're doing turn 1 land, like dork, Roger, turn 2 land, Thrasios, rock, turn 3 cradle, you're chilling. Like,
you're fine.
Yeah.
So
for those like cradle specific lists, I do feel like the turn 1 is just normal setup, like land dork, like you're saying, or land rock dork, and then turn 2 is like cast the tutor to get my cradle, and then turn 3 is like cool, I have my creatures and my cradle, now I have a shitload of mana.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think we're gonna really have much to review about the fact that it costs 6 mana. Like, yes, that obviously is rough, and like there's the commitment side of that, right? Not only is it difficult to cast, but you also are now committing all of your resources to do that. I highly doubt that you're casting this and then being like, cool, then I'm also going to do all this other stuff because somehow you have an insane amount of mana on turn 3. That's pretty unlikely. I feel like this is kind of one of those things where, and correct me if I'm wrong, cast this turn 3 with all you tap out, cast it, and then you go, cool, I have a lurking predators. I pass the turn, you know? Like, I feel like that's generally what it looks like, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Looking predators resolved. Cool. Pass. Let's see what happens.
You do a fist bump, you get up, start dancing, you're like, hey, let's go.
Yeah. Seriously. Yeah. That's
Oh.
exactly what it goes down to.
All right, yeah. What's your next point?
Okay, my next point is, and I think this is like definitely the point where I'm kind of really curious about what Hire says, because I did a little bit of digging and I looked at all of the kind of like top green decks, right? Which it does include Kinnan, Rog Thras, Thrasios, Timna, and most of those lists are running, I would say, on average about 22 creatures, right?
Mm-hmm.
Versus yours, Higher, which is running about 36, assuming that your list is fairly update, right? That's a lot. And the list that's running the most of out of any deck, and I think most people would say this is a little bit more fringe, although I think it's going to have a little bit of a resurgence, is Rocco, right? I saw a couple Rocco lists that are running like 40 plus creatures. Right?
Yeah.
It reminds me of the old like Winota lists that were running like a huge density of creatures. And so this is not one of those cards that we bring up, like, and a lot of times we do bring these cards up that are kind of easy to slot in. You kind of have to redo a large part of your deck list, right, to really take advantage of this, because if you're only running 22 to 26 on like the high end, I think you can still get impactful creatures, but I think that that's not going to be fully utilizing the power of this card that Hire is trying to get us to like kind of see here, right? Like, I think the more popular Kinnan list is Waffle's list, and I think Waffle's running 25, maybe 26
If
creatures,
that. Yeah.
if that,
Yeah.
right? And like, it's those really, like, you can probably list off the 20 to like the 20 creatures that you're going to see, right? Like all of the usual candidates, maybe a Wanderer Cake, but I'm not sure if he's on that anymore.
No, I think Waffle, the purpose of that list is really lean draw cards. It's draw cards deck. It really is.
And,
yes.
Right.
Yeah. I will say, while I'm looking through this list, rebuttal to that, is that, man, are there a lot of good creatures?
Yes.
like
I agree.
I'm looking at Hire's list right now. I'm looking at my list. Like, I'm just like, I'm looking at all these creatures and I'm thinking to myself like a schoolgirl sitting in class, just like daydreaming about all of these free creatures I could just put into the battlefield. Like, I'm so stoked. These creatures are gas. It's CEDH, baby. We get to play the best of the best.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is like that. So like, if you are going to run Lurking Predators and really mainline it, like, this is a card, if you can tutor for it, you do. It has a requirement of around 28 creatures. That's really where you want it. That's that's like a decent spot. It's a little over a quarter of your deck dedicated to this. And that means you should be hopefully seeing, every 4 cards, you should see a creature. And that is meaningful to really talk back to I think my second point, where there's a lot of decks that want to lock spells on the stack. They want to, everyone has their instant speed enablers, and people are casting 30, 40 spells because they have their draw engines and ways to make mana and whatever. And this deck says, okay, I'm down to look at 40 cards. I'm down. Yes. And remember, you're putting, every time this card triggers, you're putting the card that you don't want onto the bottom of your library. Now, there's a world where you have a Rhystic and Lurking Predators, and you're just drawing the cards that you don't like, that you're not getting off the top, right? So, just those kind of synergies, I think, really make the card strong. If you play this card and you don't have the creature density that you need, it's going to whiff a lot. It's just what it is. It's really just like a scry on top of your library. And that might be meaningful for you. If you're on Thrasios, that might be a meaningful thing, because now, okay, I see the top card of my library. You do reveal it so your opponents know what it is, but you're like, I don't want them. I want that counter spell. So I'm going to pay 4 mana, get the counter spell in my hand. And that could be meaningful enough for somebody.
No, totally agree. So what I'm hearing is like, you said mainline, and then I interpreted that as quickly as like, this needs to be kind of like a main character card, right? Like, this is a card that you again, I'm going to emphasize, like, you can't just slot. You're not going to be. This is one of those cards you can't just like test out by removing one card, like,
and just
then
throw
like,
it in,
oh,
like
okay,
throw it
let
in your
me.
random list. You're like, sure,
Right.
maybe I'll try this.
I'll
Yeah.
remove what's the blue green creature tutor. I'm just gonna remove like a
Blue
blue green creature tutor. You
You're thinking about
sacrifice a
blue
creature.
or Neoform?
Yeah,
My
I'm
Neoform?
gonna
Oh,
remove
okay.
Neoform for this
Okay.
card. Like, that's not gonna work. You kind of have to commit around this card, right? It's almost a build around card, and in a Kinnan list, right? That's fine because you're already want to flip really cool creatures. Like the creature that none of you guys have mentioned that I love is Coma. I love Coma. I think that card is so hot.
I think Hire mentioned it once. No,
Did you mention
oh
Coma?
yeah,
I did.
just
Yeah,
briefly.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
It was like a touch.
It was a touch. It
Like,
wasn't
I
anything
just
heavy.
love Coma. I think that's such a cool card. It's one that I've really liked. And you want to be a person that wants to play cards like that. That you're still okay, like, because if you're in Kinnan, like, or Rog Thras, you're still okay, like, drawing those, because guess what? You're gonna have the mana to cast that, right? My first point doesn't really apply to those two decks, right? Like, those decks, if you can cast this, you're gonna cast any of the creatures that you happen to draw into instead, right? Like, and you're gonna be okay with that.
Well, let's do a little thought exercise then. If we're talking about the creature density, Hire, you said it was a 28 creature density sweet spot, but we also are saying that you can't just slot it in. If you are a deck that's in green that has 28 creatures, can you just go by that rule? Can you just, or is it just like 28 creature plus and it's just like, sure, good enough?
I think you can. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
If you have 28 creatures in your deck, I think this card can slot in. The most meaningful thing here is, do you have the ability to generate 6 mana quickly? In most green decks, you should.
I think
they're probably going to be on Cradle anyways. So
yeah,
I agree with that. That I think is an important thing.
Cool. All right, yeah. What's your next downside?
I'm gonna be honest with you guys, as a little bit of a sneak peek into the future here. All right, that's all I came up with.
Oh my gosh, are you gonna have to tag me in, y'all?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I actually thought of one, and it was like, okay, so I have one. It's like a fun point, but like a fun downside. But when we were like literally all cheering together about Lurking Predators pass, and like we're like, yay, it resolved, like we did it. I started thinking to myself how much of like a letdown it would be if like end step somebody Besages it.
Yes,
because not only that would be so freaking miserable, because not only do you're riding the hive, you're Lurking Predators resolving, you're like, hell yes, I got a Lurking Predators, but then you are just absolutely ripped from the sky when somebody Besages, because not only is it going bye-bye, but also you don't even get a trigger because it's an activated ability. Like, speak on that a little bit Higher, because I know that feeling must be like a gut punch, right?
It's so disappointing. like, oh man, you can't even be mad at it, because it's like, yeah, you played it well, we got it to resolve, and then all of a sudden, just go get yourself a land, big guy. Go get yourself a land.
Oh my gosh. But that's my downside. It's just like, holy shit, Besages is such a good response to this.
Yeah, it really is.
The mental, like, look, everybody's a different player. Everyone's susceptible to tilting or salt in different capacity, right? For me, if that happened to me, I'm thinking of like, I just could not recover from that. Like, I am not mentally, I don't have the fortitude as a player for me to recover from getting it Besaged before it triggers a single time. I'd be crying, trying to hold back the tears.
The response that I have a lot of the time, if Besage does get on the stack or tries to get on the stack, I say, hey, before you target the Lurking Predators, because I know you want to get rid of this. I get it. It's a scary card. I get it, big guy. I get it. You might want to wait. You might want to wait for when you're trying to win. Unless you're trying to win. If you're trying to win, go for it. Get rid of it. That makes a lot of sense. That's a big, scary statement. It's scarier than like it might seem. It seems a little bit. It's very innocuous.
That's a threat,
right? Like, are you trying to win? Because that's why you want to get rid of the Lurking Predators. And they'll flat say, no, I'm not trying. It's just, you're gonna win the game if that stays around. It's like, no, I won't. People have to play through it. So if you are saying that you aren't trying to win, then you might as well just keep it around. right? That there's the
Yeah,
politics.
I
In that.
see. I see.
And
I
then
see.
and then people will like be like, hey, Ari, is he getting rid of it because he's trying to win? Maybe
Yeah, like, oh, and then everyone's like,
Totally.
you know what? I'm gonna swat that. I got
Yeah,
you,
right.
Fire.
Like,
Daps
yeah,
you
I
up.
got
I
you.
got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you
Yeah.
imagine? Oh my god.
Cast deflecting spot, flips
Yeah.
spell skite. Like it's
Yeah.
I like that. That puts emphasis back on your statement. This is a stacks piece, right? People have to
Yeah.
play through it. And if you're not going to win, leave the stacks piece alone. We all know this, right? Like if you just try to like remove a Dranith just to remove a Dranith and then pass without doing anything meaningful to like, oh, sweet. The player that you just passed to is stoked. They didn't have to waste any resources to do that. Like, and so I really like that in terms of comment. Like, you really do think of this as a stacks piece. Like this is not something people should remove until they're ready to win, right? And that's getting somebody to commit to that. Oh boy, like that just opened up some stuff. I love that.
You just got to cross your fingers and hope that when you ask them that question with your sneaky politics, that they don't give you a shit-eating grin and then like, yeah, I am gonna win on my turn, and then you go, oh shit.
Okay,
oh no,
guys, danger.
Yeah.
So we've been doing a lot of like our own rebuttals to our own things. Okay, I do have a downside.
Okay, yeah, let's bring it.
Okay, so the one downside that I think is like really a big deal is that when you cast a spell, Lurking Predators triggers, puts the creature on the battlefield, and then your spell resolves. If you happen to have like a copy spell on the stack or Gilded Drake, you can Gilded Drake the thing that I flip if I flip a creature, right? Because I can't control the flip. It just goes onto the battlefield. I can't say no.
You can't say no.
So so that's a downside.
Fringe downside. Fringe downside.
I've had that happen to me before, where it's like, okay, I've flipped Void Winnower, I'm stoked, and they're like, okay, I have this Gilded Drake that was like on the stack before, so I'm just gonna take Void Winnower. Oops.
Hello,
Thanks
darkness, my old friend. Yeah, that does seem like a little bit of a I can't stop this. And another part, since we're doing like a little collaboration here, group collaboration on the downsides, is sometimes it might be relevant, when you have to reveal it to the table. You got to reveal it to the class, whatever's on top of your library. Yeah. And if you do want that card and you don't want to bottom it,
you've got to keep it on top.
That's information. And you could be, if you get greedy, you could be putting a target on your back, because people now know, like, oh, everybody's going to take their notes and go, oh, they just put that into their hand. That's scary. Alarm bells, alarm bells, alarm bells, So that's another thing.
I'm going to push back on that idea only because we talked about it already. We've all played Counterbalance before. How many times has somebody forgotten what somebody flipped on a Counterbalance trigger? Like, I mean, that's true. It, right? Like it's just as easy to forget.
Rebuttal. Remember that people are bad sometimes.
Right. Like what Hire is saying is like these stacks are getting so large, right? I think that we're coming to a point where players are like just having to try to save brain space, right? Like these stacks are 30 cards deep. Like, how are you supposed to remember without like physically representing like the entire stack with all of the triggers? Like, what's supposed to go where? People are forgetting things. And so
it's complicated.
What I like about this card is like it's adding to that complexity, right? You're adding without you having to do anything, right? Like that's the nice thing about you don't have to make a decision here. You do. You just have to decide. All right.
But while it's resolving,
while it's resolving, that's it, right? You're not having to go. I have a pact in hand. I have a fierce in hand. Which one of these do I use? Should I wait on the in the mind break trap? Right? Like you're not having to waste. Like you can save your brain power for that. While this is
you're coasting
work.
Yeah, they're your triggers
of adding these things on. And I don't think most people are going to remember past like the first or second flip. Like you're going to flip in so many things that people are going to go, ooh, yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Myself included.
It would get confusing if you have Rhystic or Fish too, and then it's just like all shuffling around.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing when you play Lurking Predator is that you don't get married to the top of your library. So I bottom Basalt Monolith many times.
Oh wow.
Because what ends up because Lurking Predators is no longer a stacks piece. The second you keep a card on top of your library, like, oh, I really want to draw that card. Your opponents go, oh, solid. I'm just gonna now win the game.
I jam. Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah. So you really just let it go, and like you build around it, so you don't really care if you lose your.
It'll come back. Basalt Monolith will come home.
Yeah. It always does.
Yeah. It always finds its way home.
I did think of one last downside, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that with the rise again of Kinnan, I think right with what you do with what Waffle does with the deck, um, I can see a world where Grafdigger's Cage or Soulless Jailer, God forbid, Hushwing Griff, is that the one?
Yeah,
Like
Mhm.
that
that comes
exists.
back into
That
favor.
is a
Weathered
card.
Runestone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, like those cards. I mean, as a Kinnan player, you're already kind of like you keep an eye on that type of card, right? Like that really sets your game plan back, right? Like now you have to cast cards, which is not necessarily what the deck wants to do. And so um if this card does see more play, be ready for that as a player. Like you're gonna have to deal with, but again, you're probably also in blue. You're going to be pretty well set up to get rid of that when you need to. But again, that is something that you have to be prepared for, right? Like
Sure.
that's a pretty big sex piece that is going to shut this down, but it shuts down a Kinnan as well. So just PSA.
Yeah, if Grafdigger's Cage makes a massive resurgence, what ends up happening with Lurking Predators is that it becomes a card that is whenever a player casts a spell, scry on the top of your library.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I can be okay with that.
Cool.
Could be worse. Yeah.
Could be worse. And then you do find the card that you want and you just keep it. You're like, oh, right, you know what I'm going to draw.
Yeah. Yeah. That's when the Chain of Vapors on the top and you go, ooh, piece of candy.
Yeah. Ooh, nice.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, we've had a great discussion. I very much enjoyed it, but let's talk about what our favorite points are. Hire, do you want to start us off? What point of Yaws or the class
The groups,
as a
the groups.
collaboration? Yeah. Do you think is the biggest downside against this card?
I do want to really shout out, by the way. Yeah, you did a great job.
Thank you. Appreciate
Absolutely. Absolutely excellent.
Snaps.
Snaps, right? Very, very, very good. Is the build around. I think the fact that you have to do some sort of adjustment to your deck, you can't just slot it in. Like you can slot in Rhystic to any deck. You cannot slot in Lurking Predators into any deck.
Yeah.
You have to add some creature density and figure out what you want to take out. And this might involve you taking out counter spells. This might involve you taking out some of these things that protect your wins, all for the sake of putting this massive enchantment in your deck. And I think that was a really fair point. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. You gotta invest those slots. It's not a slot for one card, it's a slot for a whole ass package.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Awesome. Well, yeah, to say that you did a good job as well. I think, the fact that it's a really expensive card. Like I'll chime in there, just like the commenters will all say 1 minute after we post this video, 6 mana enchantment, LOL. So, that is something to think about. It is a big investment. And if it gets countered, wow, that is going to be rough. That's a gut punch right there. So the mana drains stonks are way up if this becomes meta.
Yeah, real good. Real good.
All right, yeah. What is your favorite point that we brought to the table? What's the biggest upside to playing Lurking Predators?
I think it's a great stacks piece, right? A stacks piece that people can choose to play through this, and it's just going to get you value, right? Like I love being able to cheat things into play, right? Like talking about this card makes me really reconsider like a Kinnan list, right? Because you're getting value through somebody playing their game. They cast spells, you're gonna get to flip things, right? And I think there are just people who love game actions. If you want game actions and not have to invest anything like on somebody else's turn, like this is a great card for you. Like if you're fidgety, I think this is a great spell to kind of consider putting into your list because it's going to give you something to do and keep you invested in making sure you're paying attention to the triggers, right? Like
Heck
this is
it's a mini game
value. It's a mini game, right? And I love cards like this that just sit there and it's going to do its thing. Like I love that point. It's really, really powerful.
Oh yeah, we love our mini games here on That's a Good Card. Check out our podcast on Birthing Ritual if you want to hear about a really fun mini game to play.
Birthing Ritual is so good.
It's so good. It's so fun. Anyway, all right, it's time. Hire, would you like to do the honors and ask Ya the question?
Hey Ya, did I change your mind? Is Lurking Predators a good card?
I'm going to say yes. I'm just going to cut that suspense. Yeah. It's a hard one, right? I think Kyle made a great point about it has this, even after we've spent like an hour talking about this card,
Hell yeah.
it still has this like casual vibe to it, right? Like it's going to be seen at a casual table, like lower powers, maybe power bracket 4, whatever. And that's my other sub point that I think I like is like most people, like even after listening to this, are going to look at this card and go, "Wait, what?
They're gonna
They're
disrespect
really
it.
serious?
They're gonna
Right? They're
disrespect
gonna
the lurking
release."
predators.
I think it's pretty cool. It's like I said, I'm really interested in rebuilding a type of Kinnan list or something like that with this in mind. Like this is pretty cool. Lurking Predators, that's a good card.
Whoop, whoop. All right.
Whoop, whoop.
Hire. We're going to do a little segment here. We're going to do a lightning round. We're going to give
Okay.
you the name of a deck, and you're going to tell us on a scale of 1 to 10 how interested you would be in playing Lurking Predators in that deck. We're not going to give you any extra information, how many creatures are being run, anything. We just want your gut reaction for the pilots of these decks to be like, should I be thinking about this? Should I not? I don't know. Are you ready?
Okay. I'm down.
All right. First one, Rocco.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For
Scale
sure.
of 1 to 10. What do you got?
Oh, 10. Oh, for
10.
sure.
Wow.
Yeah,
Instant 10.
Oh my gosh.
10.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a 10 out of 10 right there. You can line tutor for it. There's so many cards. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Here's a weird one for you. Lumra.
Lumra, no. Lumra does not play this. Lumra doesn't have the density that it needs to. It would have to change the deck quite a bit. Like you'd be surprised. Like that deck is all like look for lands and do land stuff. And
what number would you give? Like 3?
Like a 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Like a 3.
So not like the worst thing in the world, but like, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah. I played against a lot of Lumra and like that deck is all lands.
Yeah. All right. Next one. Tyam.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Another
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10.
Because Tyam, so I play with a couple Tyam players and we had talked about Lurking Predators quite a bit. And the one thing that we had mentioned is, and this is a side tangent on Tyam, but Tyam is a deck that every creature is a win con. And I think if you look at Tyam like in a like it uses every creature to do the thing, and it's just game
uses
pieces
the
on the
whole
board.
buffalo. Yep.
Yeah, and so if you have Lurking Predators, you can oops into a rule of law, and you're chilling. Like you did the thing, and now no one can really handle you. And then they try to get rid of the rule of law versus the Lurking Predators, and the stocks on Lurking Predators keeps going up because they keep trying to fight through it and they can't. Right. In decks that have white, Lurking Predators is absolutely bonkers.
Heck yeah. Awesome. Well, that was a fun little game. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. It is time for our favorite closing segment. That's a good card? Question mark. All right, listeners, if you haven't played with us before, we like to end off every podcast with a fun little game. What we're going to do is we will provide Hire with the name of an obscure Magic the Gathering card. And it's going to be his job, as well as yours, the listener, to guess everything about this card. Color, type, cost, flavor text, artwork, everything. All right, Hire, are you ready for your obscure Magic card?
Yes.
Okay, so this one, it's been printed a few times. So I'd like to think you have a chance.
Okay.
We'll see.
I care about this game, but I'm excited. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. Listeners at home, pause the video after I give you the name. Type in the comments below what your guess is. And let's see. All right. Your card is Slice in Twain.
Slice in Twain.
Twain. Yeah. So Slice in Twain.
Okay. Slice in Twain. I've heard of this card. My brain is no excited. Okay, I think Splice in Twain is a green spell.
Okay, green spell.
I think it's 1 and a green, maybe 1 and 2. No, like 2 colorless and a green. And I think it destroys an artifact or enchantment, and it has that weird like. It can be like put on an arcane spell.
Okay.
that text, right? It's like you right? Like it's not
sure.
yeah. And Yeah, and it and the flavor text is you had an enchantment and now it's two pieces.
Okay, what's the artwork you're envisioning for
Yeah,
this? And is it
the
and
art
what kind of spell is it? Yeah, I don't think you said if it was an instant or
it's an
sorcery.
instant. It's
It
an
is an instant. Okay.
instant. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a sword chopping like a tree in half.
Okay. Okay.
That's what I got here.
Nice. Okay. Well, listeners, I don't know if you're going to be able to beat higher on this one because you got pretty damn close.
Yeah.
Round of applause.
Yeah.
Round of applause.
Yeah,
You got
really
pretty
good.
damn close. Honestly, one of the closest that we've really seen on here. So this card, Slice in Twain, I'll throw it up on the screen here. It was first printed in Scars of Mirrodin. It is an instant. It is green. It is 4 mana, so 2 and 2 green pips. It reads destroy target artifact or enchantment.
Yes, he got it.
Yeah, that's crazy. It also reads draw a card, so it's even better.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Four.
Yeah.
For 4 mana, destroy target artifact or enchantment, draw a card. The flavor text reads, this is kind of a bit, I don't know if I can read this. Let's see. The hypocrisy of these elves is thicker than steel, destroying unnatural metal with their own enchanted swords. Quote, Car of Wrists, Nurok Agent.
That's really good.
Wow.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank
it's
you.
like
It's
a sword cutting a
And
tree
it
in half.
It is. The artwork does have an elf, I'm assuming, chopping with a magic sword a metal guy. That's pretty
close,
damn
bro.
good. That's pretty damn close. I'll give it a pat on the back, pat on the back. This was reprinted in Commander 2013, Ixalan 2019, and 2020. So pretty sweet.
Okay.
Pretty sweet.
Solid, man. Pretty solid.
Nice
Yeah,
job, Hire.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Oh my god. Shout out to starting Magic right around the time the card came out.
There we go. Yes. Awesome. All right. Well, now is the time of the podcast where we just give you a platform, Hire. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to plug? Time is yours.
Solid. Thank you for having me, first of all. This was I had a great time. Things that are coming up. Fishbowl 6 is coming up. It is in San Diego. It is in October. I'm so excited. 15K 300-person tournament. Cannot wait. It is going to be amazing. We have some awesome vendors. We have artists that are going to be there. We have some really cool stuff. And I'm super excited. I think we're going to have a legacy 1K. Legacy 1K
okay.
as well. Yeah. So
Nice.
Really excited about that for sure.
Yeah. And guess what? Tag C will be there, baby. We've already got our tickets. So we will see y'all there.
I'm so excited. Yeah. And obviously it's always awesome to have you guys there. That's like where I really got a chance to talk to you guys. So I'm excited about that. And then outside of that, playing with power, we have a lot of content coming out. And
sweet.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. A lot of the new stuff that we're working on is very freshly inspired from MagicCon Vegas. So we have a lot of interesting new things. And one of the things that we're really trying to promote is our Mox Masters weekly tournament. It is a CEDH online tournament every Thursday at 8 p.m. EST. It is $15 to join with a top prize of $100, and top 4 get $20 each. So it's a low investment, pretty decent reward. And it's a bronze event, so you get top deck points if you're looking for that.
Awesome.
Those points are getting harder to come by, so get them while you can.
Yep. And every month we are looking to shoot for a gold event on the last Saturday of the month.
Awesome.
Yeah. So exciting times. And obviously playing Kennen.
Of course. With Lurking Predators, of course.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll put links to all of those things in the description down below. Thank you so much, listeners, for joining us for this special episode. And thank you, Hire, for everything that you've done for the community, as well as coming on this podcast to talk about this awesome card. We had a blast.
Me too, man. Thank you for having me.
All right. Listeners, thank you so much for listening. Check the links in the description down below, and we'll see you next Monday. Bye.
Bye.